Welcome to CineScope 10. If you're a fan of dark, gripping crime dramas with chilling mysteries and atmospheric settings, you're in for a treat. Today we're counting down the top 8 best Nordic Noir shows on Netflix you can binge right now in January 2025. Let's dive in. Number 8. Deadwind, 2018 to 2022. Created and directed by Reik Jokala, Deadwind is a Finnish crime drama that stars Pila Vitala as recently widowed police detective Sofia Karpi. In the first season, Karpi returns to work in Helsinki, investigating the murder of a woman with ties to a construction company. Simultaneously, she struggles with the emotional aftermath of her husband's death and takes care of her young son and teenage stepdaughter. Besides Vitala, the series also stars Lauri Tilkanen, Jani Volanen, and Tommi Korpela in key roles. Deadwind was highly acclaimed when it premiered in Finland in 2018 on Yle TV2. Subsequently released on Netflix, the series has managed to find a wider audience, though it's still relatively underrated. The show aired 3 seasons in total, the last one released in 2022. Positively compared to shows like The Killing and The Bridge, Deadwind is a well-made and suitably gritty cop procedural with some great performances. The writing can be a bit uneven, and it does get more than a bit unrealistic, but overall, the show is an enjoyable piece of crime fiction. Number 7. The Chestnut Man, 2021, based on Søren Sveistrup's eponymous 2019 novel. The Chestnut Man is a Danish crime thriller miniseries created by Dorte Varnøe Haag, David Sandreuter, and Mikkel Serup. The show follows a decade-spanning mystery that begins in 1987 when an entire family is found dead on a remote farm. 30 years later, in present-day Copenhagen, several women are found murdered under similar circumstances with a mysterious chestnut figurine found at the crime scenes, kicking off an investigation that uncovers long-hidden secrets. Danica Kurkic and Mikkel Bo Følsgaard lead the cast as detectives Naya Thulen and Mark Hess respectively, with David Dencik, Esben Dalsgaard Andersen, and Eben Dorner in supporting roles. The Chestnut Man was a highly anticipated show before its premiere in 2021, especially because the source material's author, Søren Sveistrup, is also the writer behind the hit procedural The Killing. On its release, the series was very positively received by critics and audiences. A dark and gritty series with chilling plot twists and grisly cult horror elements, The Chestnut Man is an intriguing mystery story brought to life with excellent cinematography and strong performances. Number 6. Equinox, 2020, created by T. Lindeberg. Equinox is a supernatural thriller series based on the Danish podcast Equinox 1985. The series stars Danica Kurkic as Astrid, a young woman whose sister disappeared over 20 years ago. Haunted by terrible visions ever since, Astrid sets out to discover the truth about what happened, finding herself thrust into the middle of a complex conspiracy spanning decades. Besides Kurkic, the show also stars Lars Brygmann, Caroline Ham, Hanne Hedelund, Viola Martinsen, Fanny Bornedal, and more. A 6-episode mystery, Equinox premiered on Netflix in December 2020, receiving highly positive reviews from critics. The series has received praise for its cinematography, creepy atmosphere, and haunting performances, especially by Kurkic in the lead role. The show is especially enjoyable for fans of elevated horror who may find some similarities with the hit movie Midsommar. Carefully unfolding its spooky plot to maximum effect, Equinox is a captivating thriller inspired by Norse mythology and folk horror that you can't help but binge all in one go. Number 5. Katla, 2021, created by Baltasar Kormakur and Sigurjón Kjartansson. Katla is an Icelandic supernatural mystery drama series that kicks off with the eruption of the eponymous volcano. A year later, the town is all but deserted, ravaged by floods and ash clouds. But when people who supposedly died years ago start mysteriously turning up alive, it becomes clear that the natural disaster was just the beginning of a series of strange, inexplicable events. The show stars Gudrun Eifjord, Ingvar Sigurdsson, Björn Thors, Iris Tanja Fleigenring, Torstein Bachmann, and more. Originally announced in 2017, Katla premiered on Netflix in June 2021, receiving near universal acclaim from critics. The series is a bit of a slow burn, but the story gets increasingly more engrossing once it gets past its first episode. Making full use of its bleak, naturalistic setting, the show is an eerie and atmospheric watch with great performances. Katla balances its ominous mystery with great emotional depth, exploring both the strangeness of its supernatural events and the very natural human emotions triggered by these incidents. Number 4. A Nearly Normal Family, 2023. Based on M.T. Edvardson's eponymous novel, A Nearly Normal Family is a drama thriller limited series developed by Hans Jörnlin and Anna Platt and directed by Per Hannefjord. The show follows the story of the Sandel family, whose perfect life is upended when their 19-year-old daughter Stella is accused of murder. The series stars Björn Bengtsson, Alexandra Karlsson Tyrefors, Lo Kauppi, Christian Fandango Sundgren, and Melissa Ferhatovic. A Nearly Normal Family premiered on Netflix in November 2023 to generally favorable reviews from critics, though it was criticized for issues with the plot. The show is a binge-watching favorite as it's a 6-episode miniseries with an engaging narrative and good performances, even if it has its fair share of issues. Ironically, the series could probably have been even shorter despite its barely 5-hour runtime. Ultimately, A Nearly Normal Family isn't quite as good as it could have been, but it's still an entertaining experience, especially if you're in the mood for a weekend thriller to binge watch. Number 3. Killer's Shadow, Young Wallander, 2022. Killer's Shadow is the second season of the crime drama series Young Wallander, which is inspired by Henning Mankell's fictional Inspector Kurt Wallander and developed by Ben Harris. The series reimagines Wallander as a rookie cop in present-day Malmö, Sweden, and is not based on the original novels. Starring Adam Paulson as the central detective, Killer's Shadow, Young Wallander follows Wallander's investigation into a hit-and-run case that turns out to be part of something much bigger. The series also stars Leanne Best, Elise Chappelle, Yasin Atour, Charles Mnen, Lisa Hammond, Kim Addis, and more. The Young Wallander series wasn't very well received by Wallander fans, largely because it changes the setting and supporting characters of the original works. However, the show is still a suspenseful crime drama with interesting mysteries, especially so with Killer's Shadow. It might not be the Sherlock-esque reimagining it aspires to be, but Young Wallander does deserve a bit more credit than it gets. Number 2, The Nurse, 2023. Based on the eponymous book by Christian Korfiksen, The Nurse is a Danish true crime thriller series that explores the real-life case of nurse Christina Eistrup Hansen. The series follows Pernille Kurtzman, a rookie nurse at her first job who comes to suspect that one of the other nurses may have had a hand in a series of patient deaths. While the premise sounds fairly similar to the 2022 film The Good Nurse, The Nurse is based on a completely different case and explores the story in a very different way. The show stars Fanny Louise Bernth as Pernille Kurtzman and Josephine Park as Christina Eistrup Hansen, with Peter Zanderson, Amalie Lindegård, and Dick Kaisu in significant roles. The Nurse premiered on Netflix in April 2023 and quickly found its place on the streamer's top 10 lists. A 4-part limited series, it's a well-paced, character-driven thriller. As the show develops into more of a whistleblower drama, it also becomes a sharp indictment of officials who inadvertently helped cover up crimes by refusing to believe Pernille's story. Number 1. Entrapped, 2021. Entrapped is the 3rd season of Baltasar Kormákur's Trapped, an Icelandic mystery drama co-written by Sigurjón Kjartansson and Clive Bradley. The series stars Ólafur Darri Ólafsson as Detective Andri Ólafsson and Ilmur Kristjansdóttir as Officer Henrika Kristjansdottir with Björn Hlynur Haraldsson, Nina Dög Philippusdottir, and more in key roles. Season 3, released internationally on Netflix as Entrapped, follows Andri and Henrika on a murder case involving a cult, a biker gang's land dispute, and a woman's disappearance years before. Involving a large number of acclaimed individuals both behind and in front of the camera, Trapped is the most expensive series ever produced in Iceland. The show had its world premiere at the 2015 Toronto International Film Festival and was broadcast on RUV, receiving critical and audience acclaim. Entrapped, the third installment, is arguably the best story in the series, with a gripping mystery and interesting character arcs, as well as touches of folk horror. That wraps up our list of the top 8 best Nordic noir shows on Netflix. Which one are you planning to watch next? Let us know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more binge-worthy recommendations, and ring the bell to stay updated on all our latest videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.